What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track, back here with another video. And today we are talking Las Vegas, one of my favorite tracks on the NASCAR schedule. I was actually at this race, not last year, but the year before. So 2022, I was at this Las Vegas spring race. It's a lot of fun. I think in the next gen era, it's been one of the top tier intermediate tracks we've had. And even in the generation or the car before the next gen car, Las Vegas was still a pretty good track. It seemed to always put on a good show. So little bit of a change, which is nice. We've had two super speedways, take nothing away, especially from Atlanta. What a finish that was. One of the greatest, finishes obviously in NASCAR history, and one of the greatest races I can remember for quite some time. So take nothing away from the super speedways. There was bumps in TV ratings and all that good stuff. But we need a change, especially for the bets. Super speedways, as fun as they are to bet, when you hit one and you're able to hit like a plus 4,000 or whatever it may be, it feels good. But it sometimes, or I guess most of the time at this point, is a lot of luck. Now we get into tracks where skill, speed, team management, strategy, tire management, all that good stuff really starts to play a pivotal key role. So this is where the betting edge falls into the people that really start to know NASCAR and look into the stats and all that good stuff. So to me, this is where the real season for us starts at Las Vegas this Sunday. Before we get into the bets, just real quick, the NASCAR betting preview show, that's the logo you see in the top corner. Appreciate the partnership with them. If you are listening via the podcast format, thank you. Appreciate it. Definitely go subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Johnny on the Track on YouTube. And if you're listening via YouTube, definitely go to the NASCAR Betting Preview Show podcast feed. Give a follow to that podcast feed. That's where you can get all the best bets from myself and plenty of other betting content creators that put their stuff out. And on X, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. is where you can find the NASCAR Betting Preview Show, the actual show that goes live. That's Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on X. So with that, now we can get into the bets. Let's do it. I do want to preface by saying a lot of factors this weekend at Vegas that I think will tell us a lot moving forward. I wouldn't say this race, but moving forward, there's a lot we're going to learn. First of all, there's going to be a new tire that Goodyear is debuting. I believe it's just going to be a right side tire. I don't expect too much of a change, but there were some tire issues at Vegas, mostly in practice and qualifying last year. So that tire change will go into effect this Sunday, and then we'll continue to see that tire at several other intermediate tracks this year. So again, just something to watch for. Nothing to really change what we're thinking, but again, just throwing that out there. And then another factor, right, is this Mustang Dark Horse that we've seen only right now on the super speedways. But the Dark Horse, the changes they made to that front of the body of the car was specifically to help strengthen Ford at these intermediate 1.5 mile tracks. That's what these changes were made for. So Ford, quite frankly, right, last year wasn't that good on these tracks. They weren't terrible, but Blaney won Charlotte. That comes off the top of my head. But Chevy, Toyota have been kind of elite in the next gen era at these intermediate tracks. So we're going to have to see, does that Mustang Dark Horse, does that make a difference? I'm not sure. But I'm going to tell you, after one more little factor that we'll go into, but I'm going to tell you with that how I still feel at the moment. So one more factor I think we have to look at is front row motorsports. We've seen at the super speedways to start, front row has been fast. They've brought fast race cars. We know now they are a tier one Ford program. So does that, you know, last year, right? Front row, Michael McDowell was looking for maybe top 15s, more of top 20s on these intermediate tracks. Todd Gilliland, a top 20 would be a good day for him. Does that change? I mean, we saw Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell qualify well. Todd led a lot of laps at both Daytona and Atlanta. They've brought fast race cars. Blaney, Logano, as bad as Ford and Penske were on the intermediate tracks last year, they still, I mean, they're great drivers and they can still compete for top 5, top 10s. So is that now the expectations we should have for Todd Gilliland and Michael McDowell, more specifically Michael McDowell competing for top 10s? Again, I'm not sure. This race is going to tell us a lot on things moving forward. But at the moment, we have to go by what we've seen at the 4 races previously in the next gen era at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And that's how I've came to my bets this weekend. So the first one I'm going to give you is Christopher Bell to win. Plus 900 is the number right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. Might be able to shop around, find a better number. He's won the pole here. He's been the second fastest on this track in the next gen era. Still no wins. But I think he's due. And I watched him at the race whenever I was there, lead a lot of laps. He started up front. He was on the pole. I think he's a good pole bet here as well if you want to add something. But he's got a top 10 and add 2 top 5s and 4 goes at it in the next gen era. I think Christopher Bell is going to be a dangerous, dangerous race car driver this Sunday afternoon in Vegas. I love that bet. I like the number too, plus 900. I think that number is only going to go down and down as we see him compete for the pole, which he will do. Bet number 2, Ross Chastain plus 1,500. Another guy that I watch with my own eyes just be a force at this track. He's got 3 top 5s, a worst finish of 12th in the next gen era at Vegas. Speed's going to be there for Ross. Trackhouse coming off a high of all highs, winning that Atlanta race that close with Daniel Suarez. I think Ross is now hungry to get a win as his teammates locked in. Like I said, speed's going to be there for Ross. He's been the 3rd fastest in the next gen era at Las Vegas. He's had great results there. I like Ross Chastain at this spot, plus 1,500. I think that's a great number to get him at. Another guy that is definitely going to be competing for that pole. So Ross and Bell so far. How about Bowman? Alex Bowman plus 2,200. I think that's great value for a previous winner here. A guy that's got 2 top 5s in 3 races at Vegas in the next gen era. He is in a Hendrick Motorsports car. I've been high on Bowman all off season coming into this year. I think he's going to have a resurgence year. He's shown he can win in the Cup Series. Hendrick has been fast so far to start the season. They got the win at the Daytona 500. Chase has looked pretty good. Of course, Larson, the finishes haven't reflected the speed, but Larson's been good. So now this is the time where you start to see Hendrick and Joe Gibbs really start to take strides from the rest of the field, in my opinion. So I like Bowman in this spot, plus 2,200, great value. That's $100 bet will win you $2,200. So Alex Bowman, I think, is a guy you have to target, even if you don't want to take him on the outright, maybe a top 5, maybe if he's plus money at a top 10, which is definitely possible. If you can get him maybe around plus 110, plus 120, that is a lot to go bet. So Bowman, and then I'm going to add Hendrick Motorsports, the winning team. You've got Bowman, you got Byron, who's won here. You've got Larson, who's won here. So 3 out of the 4 Hendrick drivers have won here previously. They've sort of dominated this track in the next gen era. I like this bet. I don't know the number you're going to get it at, but I'd bet it, anywhere from plus 250 up to plus 500, which I don't think it's going to get to plus 500. But I think plus 250. If you find it at that number, which is what I expect around it probably to drop, I'd bet it all the way up to whatever you can get it at. But anything less than plus 250, you might want to avoid that. But Hendrick's going to be really good at this track this weekend. So what else do we got? We got Hendrick, Bowman, Chastain, and Bell as kind of the outright wins. And then, so I put down Larson. He's plus 400. I think the value on that is pretty trash right now. So you're hoping, right, that somebody like Larson, well, you either account for him another way, which is kind of what I'm doing, is betting Hendrick to be the winning team, or you wait till maybe he slips up in practice and slips up in qualifying, and that number gets closer to, say, +7, plus 750. And then I think there's value on Larson. He's been the fastest car in the next gen era at Vegas. He's won here, and quite frankly, he's just tough to beat on these intermediate style tracks. I think he's going to have a really, really good run after two kind of frustrating finishes for him at tracks that he ran well at, being Atlanta and Daytona. I think Larson really starts to get his season on track with a great run this Sunday. But again, the value is going to play a pivotal role, I think, in how I'm going to bet it. I would advocate the same for you as well. So those are kind of my winning bets right now. I'm going to give you two top tens and an additional prop, because I guess I can call that Hendrick Motorsports sort of a prop. But let's go with two top tens: John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Gibbs. So we'll start with John Hunter. One of the factors I guess I didn't mention is Legacy Motor Club and how they will look on these mile and a halves, because Toyota has been good, especially Joe Gibbs Racing. You look at 2311, the way they've dominated Kansas. I think Toyota and Legacy, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I like John Hunter Nemechek. He's right now top 16 in points. I assume you can probably get this bet at some substantial plus money. I don't know, plus 250. I don't know. The line hasn't dropped, but I'm high on Legacy this season. John Hunter Nemechek has kind of made his young career on these intermediate style tracks. In my opinion, I compare John Hunter to a lot like Christopher Bell in kind of the way he races, his style, where he shines. And he actually won at Vegas in the Truck Series. He's got plenty of great runs in the Xfinity Series. I think the car is going to be on the cusp to be fast enough for John Hunter to get a top 10. And I think he'll find a way to do it. I'm high on John Hunter and Legacy in sort of these style tracks this year. And then Ty Gibbs. Look, if you're high on Ty Gibbs this year, which you should be, quite frankly, it's probably because of these style tracks, plain and simple. You're going to ignore him on super speedways. I think you might want to look at him on short tracks for sure. But intermediate style tracks, Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, I think this is where Ty makes that big stride and really starts to show that he's a perennial playoff driver. His Vegas results last year left a lot to be desired, quite frankly. But again, I'm high on this young kid. I think he takes a big step. I think that team takes a big step. I think he's going to have a fast race car, and he got better at these mile and a halves as the season went on. Ty Gibbs top 10. Again, assuming you can get that at plus money, you take it. One more prop, top four. How about Austin Cindric? He's been on a heater to start, quite frankly. I just missed him to win last week at Atlanta, or I should say we just missed him top Ford as well. He was the second Ford behind Blaney, but he's been on a heater. He's had some good results here in the Xfinity Series, and he had a top 10 here in Cup, not last year, but the year before. He's going to be up against his Penske teammates in RFK, and I'll take right now Penske over RFK. I just trust them more at the moment, and I'm going to ride the hot hand with Cindric. I think he's been really good to start. A lot of the questions around Austin Cindric last year were, right, he had a great rookie season. He comes back last year, takes a huge step back. He was not that good, and a lot of that was because of these style tracks. His teammates, right, Logano, although Logano wasn't always fast, he found a way to get a top top 10 most days on these intermediate tracks. And Ryan Blaney, he was good. Same thing. Maybe he wasn't always the fastest, or if he was competing up there. I think Cindric, he's got to match that, right? When you don't have the best car, you find a way to get yourself in the top 10, whether it be by strategy. But I do think, that team is going to show some more speed. They've already done it so far this year. And I think if he can start to match the speed of Logano and Blaney, I think he's going to show a lot of strength this year at these mile and a halves, because I'm high on Cindric. I believe in that kid. I think he's a really good race car driver. He showed you flashes of just how good he can be and really talented he is behind the wheel at Atlanta. Um, he's just got to ride that hot hand, and I like what I'm seeing right now from that two team. So Austin Cindric, top Ford, I like that as well. So one more time, we'll go through all the bets. Bell, Chastain, Bowman are your outrights to win. You add Hendrick Motorsports winning team. Stay put on Larson right now. Wait till that value changes a little bit more to favor yourself as a better. John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Gibbs top 10, and Austin Cindric top Ford are the props I will be giving out. Those are the bets this weekend. Let's hammer Las Vegas. Let's just go out and win some money this weekend in Vegas. When you say Vegas, you think money. That's got to be us this Sunday. I'm excited. I'm ready. I feel like we've got a good card going out. But always Johnny on the Track on Action Network for any more bets I post practice, post qualifying, post this show. And in the comment section, want to know what you guys think. Definitely put your bets and who you're rolling with this Sunday in that comment section below. If you're a first time watcher of the channel, hit that subscribe button. Goes a long way for me. Definitely give this video a like as well. It goes a long way for the channel. So appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, I'm excited. I feel confident. I feel like we're going to have a good weekend. Let's go out and do it. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.